You know, when it comes to money, it's so easy to get buried in jargon, right? We're talking credit scores, income statements, investment returns. It's a lot. But what if I told you there's just one number that cuts through all that noise? A single number that gives you the clearest possible picture of your financial health? Well, today we're going to find out exactly what that is.
So let me just ask you straight up. How well do you really know your financial health? And I'm not talking about your paycheck or what's sitting in your checking account today. I mean the whole shebang, the complete picture. And hey, if you feel a little unsure, that's totally normal. Most people do. But we're about to fix that.
And the key is this incredibly simple but powerful formula, your net worth. It's just the value of everything you own minus the value of everything you owe. That's it. Assets minus liabilities. This is the single calculation that tells the true story of where you stand financially, and we're going to break it all down. Now, I want you to think of your net worth not as some kind of grade or a report card. It's more like a financial snapshot. It's a crystal clear picture of your finances at one specific moment in time, and it goes so much deeper than just your bank account balance. The whole idea really just boils down to these two things. On one side, you've got your assets. That's all the stuff you own that has value. We're talking cash, investments, your home, your car. Then on the other side, you've got your liabilities. That's everything you owe. Your mortgage, student loans, that credit card balance. Your net worth is simply what's left when you subtract one from the other. So, let's get practical and start building this out. We're going to begin with the fun part, adding up all your assets. This is where you actually get to see all the value that you've already built up for yourself. To make this super easy, let's just group your assets into three main buckets. First up, you've got your cash and savings. That's the easy stuff. You know, what's in your checking and savings accounts. Then you have your investments. This includes things like your 401k or any IRAs you have. And finally, your property. Think your home, your car, anything valuable you own. Just list out the current value for each. Okay, but here's a pro tip, and this is so important. When you're putting a value on your personal stuff, like your furniture, your laptop, even your clothes, you can't use the price you paid for them. You've got to be realistic. Use what you could sell it for today. We call it the garage sale value. That brand new TV felt like a huge asset when you bought it, but its actual resale value is way lower. All right, we've got the asset side of the equation figured out. Now it's time to look at the other side. And yeah, facing your liabilities, all your debts, can feel a little intimidating, but it is absolutely essential if you want an honest picture of your finances. And listen, if looking at your debt feels a bit heavy, I want you to remember this. You are definitely not alone. According to a study from the New York Fed, a staggering 16.6 million households in the U.S. actually have a negative net worth. That means they owe more than they own.
So what's actually causing this? Well, this chart breaks it down pretty clearly. For a lot of people, especially younger folks, student loans are the single biggest piece of the puzzle, making up a huge 40% of that debt. This really highlights something important. Having a negative net worth isn't some sign of failure. A lot of the time, it's just a temporary stop along the way, especially if you've invested in yourself with an education or a home.
So, to make sure you get a complete picture, you got to list all of your liabilities. Of course, you'll have the big ones, like a mortgage or car loans. But don't forget about things like credit card balances, any personal loans, or even significant medical bills that you're still paying down. Every little bit counts. Okay, so now we know what to calculate, but let's talk about how to do it right. Because getting this next part right is so crucial. There are a few really common calculation traps that can give you a totally misleading picture of your financial health. We're going to focus on 4 of the biggest ones that can really hide the progress you're making. We're talking about being way too optimistic about your home's value, completely forgetting about smaller debts, ignoring the quiet damage of inflation, and, of course, the mistake of not checking in on this number often enough. Let's kick things off with your home. Our source material had this quote that I think just says it perfectly. Homes are valuable, but they aren't piggy banks. What that means is the number you see on some real estate website is not the amount of cash you'd actually get if you sold your house tomorrow. And here's a perfect example of what I mean. Let's say your home's estimated value is $500,000. Well, you have to subtract all the costs of selling it. Realtor commissions, closing costs, taxes. That can easily be around 8%. So the realizable value, the actual cash you'd walk away with, is closer to $460,000. And that's the number you need to use for a truly realistic calculation. Next up is the inflation trap, and this one is really sneaky. So imagine your investments grow by 3% in 1 year. Hey, that feels like a win, right? But as you can see here, if inflation was 4% that year, your money's actual buying power went down. Your real progress is actually negative 1%. If you ignore inflation, you might think you're moving forward when you're really just treading water or worse.
And remember what I said before, don't forget the small stuff. It is so easy to just overlook a lingering credit card balance or a small loan from a family member, but these little hidden liabilities, they add up fast. Forgetting them gives you this false sense of security, so make sure every single dollar you owe is in that calculation. So, you've done all the work, you've avoided the common traps, and you have your number. Now what? Well, this isn't just some homework assignment. Your net worth is an incredibly powerful tool. I want you to think of it as your own personal financial compass. See, this isn't a one-time thing. By tracking this number over time, your financial compass helps you actually see your progress. It helps you set goals that are actually achievable. It lets you know if you're taking on too much debt. It really guides every decision, from your monthly budget all the way to your retirement plan. It puts you in the driver's seat. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Your net worth is your financial compass. It's designed to guide you, but a compass is useless if it's not accurate. For it to work, it has to be pointing in the right direction. By taking a little bit of time to calculate your net worth honestly and to do it accurately, you've officially set your compass. You now have a clear, true view of exactly where you are today. So the only question left is, where are you going to navigate next?